Yesterday, as of writing this, the Pizza Tower developers have released footage from work in progress they have for the playable noise coming to Pizza Tower. Now we don't know much about how this is going to be included, like is it going to be an update or a DLC, but we know it's probably going to release sometime next year. So for the time being, I've decided to just analyze and try to speculate things about the teaser for fun. Just real quick before we begin, it's like my first time trying to do sort of commentary like this, so if you like it, just tell me. I'd love to do more stuff like this if you guys like it for stuff like Pizza Tower and Doki Doki. Now let's just start this already so I don't go on rambling, starting with the music shown in the teaser. This section's going to be pretty short as there's only one new track shown, but it's kind of a big deal. As it seems to be the noises escape thing. Now, listening to this track, it kind of sounds like a remix and revamped version of Distasteful to Anchovi. Let me just play them both for comparison. I'm honestly glad they chose to revamp this song, as I was always fine with it, but thought it was a little lacking. So I'm glad it's been remade to just sound much better than before. Now with this track being remixed to be used, there is a chance we might get Pesto Anchovi as his lap 2 theme, which is the song you're listening to right now in the background. However, the devs didn't really like it too much, and as much as I love the song with how ironic it is that Noise, of all characters, has a theme based on the Moonlight Sonata by Beethoven, it also feels more like a cover of the song than an original Pizza Tower song, so there's a set chance we might not get this song back, which will be sad, but I'm sure that the devs alive will be able to make a song that will be just as good. Either that or they're just going to reuse it to the death side of Zervioli, but hey, I'm not complaining about an excuse to hear that song one more time. It's pretty good. Now let's move on to the sprites. Throughout the video we can see many of the sprites for Nose here. And while some of them have just been seen before, either unused or repurposed, we have gotten a few new sprites. The first one is seen right at the beginning, where we can see sprites of Noise spinning up and down in what looks like an air dash animation. Or I guess air spin. It doesn't really look like a dash, who knows. After that, when the Noise is in known for us, we can see what seems to be his new ground pound animation, where he uses a smaller version of the Noise Crusher used in his boss fight. We also see his animation for falling down large heights, as well as new fire mouth sprites, and sprites for when he's abusing Morin. After that, we see one Noisy for when the noise is escaping, acting like Gustavo or Mr. Stick. But that's really it for his normal sprites. Now for his TV sprites, we see the normal one at first, but shortly after we get to see his combo TV sprite where he seems to be doing Kung Fu? If you can call it that. Anyways, after that we also see his monk running sprites where he does a pretty similar insane face to Peppino's monk running sprite. And we also see a sprite where when he collects special collectibles like big toppings or just keys and stuff, where he does a peace sign like his unused door unlocking animation. And then after that we can see what his panic animation looks like during pizza time, where he just goes completely insane. Other than that, we don't really see anything else yet, as the other transformation TV sprites for things like Morton the Firemouth are just the same as the unused ones. So let's finally move on to... Alright, let's finally talk about the big part of this teaser, the gameplay. Right off the bat, as mentioned before, the noise is seen twirling up and down. Now for the spinning up move, it seems the most confusing. I thought it was just going to be his action for running up walls, where instead of wall running like Peppino does, he just jumps onto the wall and does bounce off of it, kinda like his old wall climb. However, we can also see him doing this move without a wall when he lands, so maybe he can use after landing with his downward spin? Who knows? Speaking of a downward spin, that's the next move we see him using. From the looks of it, just like the upward spin, it seems to be a noise parallel of one of Peppino's moves, this time being his dive. Rather than diving diagonally the way Peppino does it, the noise seems to drop down directly instead. Now with both of these moves, it kind of looks like the Noise is able to just conserve his milk status, so like, he's able to keep Muck running after landing a spin, which looks like it'll be pretty useful. Shortly after this, we get to see his super jump, where he seems to be able to move left and right while doing it, unlike Pumpin, who's just forced to go straight up. And he seems to be able to use his spin attack to cancel it, which can also seemingly be used to cancel the bounce move we talked about before. Next up, we get to see his ground pound animation, where in a similar fashion to Gustavo and Brick, the Noise seems to be able to pop up in the air high when he does it, and it looks like he's able to immediately break metal blocks, unlike Pumpin, who has to be falling for a short amount of time before doing it. Along with this, we also see his Fire Mouth and Mort transformations. Now with this Fire Mouth, it seems to be the same as Pumpin's, but on a closer inspection, it looks like he's kind of able to float up a little bit, kind of like how Pumpin does when he has a pepper ability. So that could be the Noise's little tweak for that move. Either that or I'm just seeing things. That's probably what I'm seeing. Anyways, with Mort, instead of having Mort just right on top of his head like Pumpin does, Noise just chokes Mort and throws him around, and Mort does not seem pleased about this. Now I'm guessing he can still double jump, but rather than swinging Mort, Noise just throws Mort like I mentioned before. Other than that though, he still seems like he's able to use Mort hooks and kill stupid rats like Pumpin does. After that, the last thing we see is him in his pizza time, where everything seems the same, aside from him obviously using his Panic TV and having a Noisy guide you in the same manner as Gustavo and Mr. Sick do for Pumpin. Finally, one small extra thing about his tornado spin is that he seems to be able to ride along with it on the ground, rather than immediately stopping after landing, like the dive for Pumpin. And one last thing to note, from what it looks like, it seems like kind of in a similar fashion to Gustavo and Brick, the Noise is capped at Mach 3, so he can't seem to reach Mach 4 like Pumpin can. Which I'm not too sad about. I never really liked that sprite to begin with, I'm gonna be honest. Now with all this out of the way, let's wrap up with this end speculation guessing thing. Now on to the final segment, my final thoughts and speculations. Let's just start with the bosses, specifically the replacements for Noise and Fake Pumpin. Now for the Noise replacement, he's simple. We've already been told that he's gonna be replaced by the Noise. But for Fake Pumpin, this is where we have to start guessing. Now there is a chance they could just leave him as Fake Pumpin, which would be funny, but I honestly think there is a chance we get to see that one weird character that they showed off before in the tweet as a replacement for Fake Pep. Nah, they were probably just drunk while deciding. I bet we'll just get Fake Pumpin. Now for a few small extra details, which are honestly more like little desires I have than speculation, are for his pizza time and his taunting Noise. For his pizza time, I really hope that instead of just calling it pizza time, like always, they rename the state to something like make some noise. It is a sprite that people say a lot that's related to noise, kind of like what pizza time is to Pumpin. And it even has the same amount of syllables, so I think it fit pretty well. Another thing that I hope is that for his taunt Noise, instead of using the default one, just use the same orchestra hit used in Pumpin' Hot Stuff. One last thing I'd like to mention is how funny I think this is. Like, people were wondering if Noise is going to use his copy and paste skateboard or wonky Pogo moveset, and instead the devs just came along and made a new one. I guess you could say it's just the same thing as skateboard, but I don't count it. Hell, in the Halloween update, the Pogo Noise even got updated to have a command to become him with a Switch character, as well as having updates with his moveset, which, in hindsight, were probably just there as a red herring to fuck with us. Anyways, that's all for today. If you enjoyed this, please like and comment. And if you really liked this type of video, comment tell me that you do. Tell me what other things like related to pizza or DLC that you'd like me to cover in the future maybe. I might do this more if you guys like it, but that's all for now anyways. I hope you enjoyed it. And seeing as it's going to be in a few days as of writing this, like maybe 2 days, Merry Christmas.